We have great new tutorials. The whole homepage has been revamped. So just want to mention that. And then Cade, before we get going here, just want to give people a rundown. This is obviously kind of a different stream because usually we do Thursdays, but we wanted to do a Friday stream so that we could really highlight these college football playoff early moves because we're down to the Final Four. So there's both games here with some Rithmm recommendations that I want to highlight and kind of get your thoughts on. I also want to talk about tomorrow because we have two really good NFL games that mean something. And I want to talk to you, Kate, about how do you approach Week 18? It's kind of difficult. Some of these games mean a lot, like games tomorrow, Bucks, Panthers, and Seattle and San Fran. A lot of games mean absolutely nothing. So how do we attack these games? In particular, Giants, Cowboys that you and I were joking about right before we started. So I know I rambled there to start, Cade, but just want to let people file in here and remind everyone, Happy New Year. And if you have not downloaded Rithmm, do it now. Give it a 5-star review in the App Store and use promo code START25 for 25% off. But the floor is yours, my man. How was your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? And how you feeling today, buddy?
Man, we're having a great college football playoff, I think. I mean, despite I think we lost our first college football playoff bet on this finally for this first time this weekend. And it wasn't even like terrible. It was just Alabama's defense sucked. I had Indiana team total under due to the weather news that was apparently around Pasadena. And my Rithmm model had the under, but I was like, it's like, I don't know about a full game. I would just play one side just to kind of deteriorate for the weather. And there was no rain whatsoever during the game at all. So nonetheless, yeah, we're doing really good in the postseason, ready to get after it with the NFL in the coming crunch time. And yeah, if you guys catch me looking up, it's because I'm actually tuning into Navy. So we have that one.
I was going to say, I know you have action, man. What do you got in that one?
I had Navy at -2.5, and I know that closed at -7. That was obviously due to some opt-out stuff. We do have action tonight in the bowl games, a couple college basketball play, and then, yeah, we said tonight's been, I think we're doing a thing with our group podcast. We've been playing bets super small, but our little thing was finding a bet in every single bowl game just to close us out of the season. Super small bets, don't have to like unload the bankroll, but it's content, it's fun, why not? So we'll make it last. And it's been pretty good, I'm not gonna lie to you. So
no, I'm right there with you, man. I think kind of approaching these bowl games differently. You got to be aware of who's in and who's out. That's the most basic thing. I think a lot of college
nuts.
Novice bettors, they'll go into it and say, okay, give me the bigger name school without knowing that, okay, their QB's in the portal, their coaches got fired, and there's an interim coach. Like, these are the things you definitely got to be aware of. I want to give Rithmm a shout out here before we get into all these games because they really helped me cash these last two really big ones in the college football playoff. Because, Cade, we go back to that Miami game. It was New Year's Eve. For those of you who are not fully intoxicated, but maybe you're watching this game, seeing this thing go down. But Miami was kind of a blueprint play for me because they were playing Ohio State. Ohio State was a very popular bet. They were getting upwards of 60, 70% of spread bets at DraftKings. But what I noticed about that game at the time was that they were hovering around 10 or 9.5. Like, it opened -9.5 Ohio State, got up to 10. But it didn't stay at 10 too long, kind of came back down to 9.5. And that told me across the market, and again, what I love to do is kind of marrying the market and the way it's reacting to what Rithmm is predicting. And if I can find an edge, that's always a sweet spot for me. So the public was heavy Ohio State. The fact that it didn't get up to 10.5 or higher, it came right back down to 10 and then 9.5. I was like, okay, I'm contrarian in a heavily bet game. I got a bit of a line freeze here. And then at the time, Rithmm had a recommendation of Miami plus 8.1. So that got me excited. If I got a 10, it was plus 10 minus 120. So it was a little bit juiced up, but I wanted that key number. So if they lose by 10, I push. But I was contrarian. There was a little bit of resistance on the 10. Rithmm was telling me it was an 8.1 game. So I love that Rithmm pushed me further to taking the U. And oh, by the way, Cade, that CLV, man, did you see that close? I think it closed like 7.5. We're taking shots with my buddies, and it's New Year's Eve, and I had the whole team. I'm like, hey, we're going the U tonight. They're like, who you want to bet? So the U came through, and that was awesome with Rithmm assisting us there. And then Ole Miss, man, what a sweat. That was just amazing. Loved it. What a game. Ole Miss was a very unpopular play as well. Public was on Georgia. Ole Miss was only getting like 32% of spread bets at DraftKings, but Ole Miss was basically plus 6.5 up to 7, but right back down to 6.5. A lot of books even closed at 6. So again, we were contrarian, which is important to me this time of year. You want to be against the masses because these games are super heavily bet. The reverse line movement was coming back toward Ole Miss, and Rithmm had Ole Miss plus 4.2. So that's really, the way I like to use Rithmm. What's the market telling me? If the market's telling me I'm against the public, I'm with the smart money, and the line's moving in favor of that contrarian team, plus a Rithmm recommendation, I love making that bet. And by the way, Cade, Lane Kiffin is a complete loser. You give up on that team to go to LSU, and then you have the gall to go on Twitter and, oh, let's go Ole Miss. Like, no. You left them. You dumped that girl. You cannot come back and talk about what a great person that girl was. No. You left that team. So you don't get to say
now, though. That they
shut your pie hole. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was that just annoyed me. Like, way to cash out and give up on that team. Hope they win it all. Even though I think
right?
you got like $500,000, yeah, for them getting that far. But anyway, I digress. But with that being said, want to mention the final four here, and let's talk about these final four games, Kate. I know we got a little bit of time, so I think it's important now to just get a feel for where's the public so far. Again, remember, public's not going to really bet these games until closer to kickoff, and we're still a week away. But where did the line open? Where are the early moves? And again, I like looking at, you get to a key number, where's the buyback? Is there buyback? Does it flow through? Like that Indiana game was interesting, Cade, because Indiana was only getting like 30% of bets. The public was heavy on Bama getting the points, but that line kept going toward Indiana. Like I think it was -6.5 to 7 or 7.5. So that was a bit of a fade the trendy dog play. But let's start off with the champions. And let me just ask you, Cade, do you have any tickets here or any of these teams worth playing? Now that Ohio State has been knocked out, Indiana is your favorite to win it all, plus 130. The U is plus 310. Oregon plus 320. Ole Miss plus 600. So one, do you have any futures that you're holding, any good tickets that you could let it ride or hedge with? Or do any of those teams jump out to you? Like, I know it's really square, but Indiana plus money to win it all? I don't know. That's kind of hard to pass up right now.
Right now, I really wouldn't blame you a single bit. I mean, they look like the single-handedly most dominant team in this entire bracket so far. As of a looks standpoint, of course, not necessarily winning against Bama is going to get very, very, very public. I think, in my opinion, I think a lot of people are going to buy that number. I mean, it was open. I think it was down to 3.5. I think you're already seeing a 4.5 now, if I'm not mistaken. I have two futures, and I'm sitting pretty. I'm not going to lie to you. I took Oregon at 15-1 over the bracket. I had them to make the semifinal for -108 on DraftKings earlier. And then I also had Miami at 27-1.
Whoa.
So I love this team. I said it in the semifinal when we break down the A&M game. They've got the potential to make a run. They're on that run right now. And I'm not going to stop. I'm just not going to stop now. So.
But with that in mind, Cade, you have a great position with Miami and Oregon. What do you do this weekend? Do you hedge in moneyline Ole Miss? Do you hedge in moneyline Indiana? Do you let it ride? How do you there? And again, there's no right answer. I think it's different. You talk to different bettors. Part of it to me is how much did you risk? Like if you bet $5 and you're going to win, 1,000, then hey, let it ride. You really got nothing to lose. But if you put like 500 on it and you could lose 500, but you could guarantee a profit of, I don't know, $200, that's nothing to scoff out there. So have you got some time here, my man, but what are you thinking? Letting it ride or maybe hedging some of these plays?
I'll let it ride for the most part because I'm not a very massive future better. I'll be straight up honest with you. I'm not nuking futures because I'm not the best at necessarily predicting that kind of market, honestly. I don't want to call it. It was kind of lucky because of like the price of it. It's been insane. And the way the outcomes, they probably should have lost that A&M game if I'm being completely honest too. But I mean, yeah, I only put a quarter of a unit on both just because of the price that they were. Typically for stuff that is over 1,000 or plus 1,000 in a way, I'm not putting anything over like 20, maybe if that, just to win a unit half the time, or you typically 1 to 2 units, even that. So I don't risk a whole lot in futures, or more so a lot of just for the thrill and the fun of it. by the way the market's trending, I'm probably still going to end up taking Oregon at the number that it's at if that number gets high enough. Same thing for Miami. I mean, for a cheap money line, I think they're like minus 150. Those are the ones that I'm debating on right now. But yeah, I'm probably just going to let it ride and then play my originals.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we're going to get into these two games right here, but think of it this way, man. You need one of these teams to win outright for you. Like, again, it could turn out that neither do, and both, Oregon and Miami lose, but Miami is favored. We'll get into that game. Oregon, you're going to be in a great position if they're able to knock off Indiana somehow. So just like throwing that out there, because I'm sure, Cade, you get a lot of like tweets and stuff of people saying, I get this all the time. Like, I have this number on this future. What do I do? And I always feel bad because there was a guy, if you remember this, Cade, it was a while ago, and I don't want to bring it up because I'm a Bruins fan, but the Bruins played the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup Finals. This guy had a Blues ticket where I forgot the number. It was like, I don't know, 50 to 1 or 100 to 1 or something crazy. And they made it all the way to the Cup Finals. And I'm like, hedge. What are you doing? Hedge that bet, like guarantee a profit. And the guy would not hedge. And I thought he was crazy. They ended up winning the whole thing.
Oh,
so again, sometimes you got to be bold. Yeah. Like, you got to put yourself out there to, really guarantee a profit or cash a big ticket like that. But again, it's up to you as the bettor what you want to do. With that being said, let's talk about these games, man. So let's start off with the first one, because if we check out what's been happening with these games, it's kind of interesting because I'm kind of seeing a similarity with both of them. And I'll kind of explain it to you, Cade. So first off, Miami and Ole Miss. Now, what I've seen across the market, and again, we're a week away, so a lot can change between now and then, but the public doesn't really know what to do. I'm seeing splits that are basically 50-50. Anytime you see a 50-50 ticket split, especially at a national big public book like DraftKings, automatically I say, damn it, I got no contrarian value. Like, I like to be somewhat lopsided. Give me a 75-25, 60-40, something like that, because these games are so heavily bet. They're standalone island games. I want some little bit of contrarian value. I want, basically, Cade, the drunk guys at the bar don't know what to do. You got half of them saying take the points with Ole Miss. Half of them are saying lay it with the U. So let's just get that out there. And again, it could change between now and kickoff, but we're 50-50. What I did notice in terms of a line move, Cade, is that it did go up to Miami a bit. So Miami, a lot of books open -3. They're up to -3.5. But here's the thing. If you look at the juice on a lot of these games or a lot of these sports books here, it's really juiced toward the Ole Miss side. So do we go back down to 3? So it tells me that, okay, maybe there were some respected bettors across the country, at some of the premier books, especially like DraftKings. They might have laid it with Miami -3 as soon as this line came out. I think there might have been a couple books that opened 2.5, but we're not getting up to 4. If anything, it looks like it might be coming back down to 3. So, 3s are available. 2.5s definitely are not available. Who knows? They might come to 2.5. That would be, kind of somewhat surprising. This is all a long-winded way of me saying, I think and I'm leaning toward Ole Miss here, Cade. I'm thinking you got to grab Ole Miss relatively soon. Like, I don't know if you want to grab it right now, this second, but I don't want to wait a week. I don't want to wait more than a couple days here because I need that hook. If they lose by 3, the most common key number, I got to cash with the hook on the +3.5. You look at a couple other angles here. Number one, love a dog who can score system match. You and I have talked about this a lot, but if you're on a dog in this situation, like with Ole Miss, got to be able to do one of two things: play great defense, keep it low scoring and cover, or you got to put up points yourself so you can keep pace or backdoor cover. Now, Ole Miss, they're humming right now. Trinidad Chambliss looks incredible. Got a lot of good receivers. The running back, just please don't fumble again. You really got me nervous there in that last game. But they're averaging nearly 37 points a game, and they just put up, what was it, 30? It got weird 30, there at the end, Cade, by the
37, way. 37, but then the safety as time expired. Yeah, 39.
Exactly.
Might have been important to some people. But
and I think, who was it? Was it, Sean McDonough. He's been a Boston guy, but he's like, yeah, this could be important to some, like he's doing his Al Michaels thing there, which was kind of funny. But then the other angle, just trying to make a case here for Ole Miss, would be, biggest thing to me is 3.5 could be getting back down to 3, so 3.5 could be your best number. Dog who can score system match, SEC versus ACC, powerhouse conference. You're playing much better competition with Ole Miss than you are with the U. And then I don't know, man. Is there a house money kind of thing with Ole Miss? Like your coach leaves you, people just automatically say they're dismissing you. Do you want to prove people wrong? Do you have no pressure because you're not expected to go this far? I thought their coach was really impressive to me. I've never really seen him like do on sideline interviews, and he was on with Van Pelt after the game. I just liked how he was kind of a no nonsense, just a regular dude that just kind of seemed, I don't know, like a hardworking guy that didn't like overthink it too much. I can't explain it. I just was kind of impressed with him. But then again, let's look at Rithmm, and Rithmm is saying Ole Miss. The first model here has Ole Miss plus 3.5, so you're literally right on the number. That's why it's a bit of a caution flag or kind of a lean. But right here, Kate, we got Ole Miss plus 2.9. So if we can get a 3.5, if we can be on a dog who can score system match, if we can be with a house money team with nothing to lose, and Rithmm is telling us we're getting about a half point of equity here, I'm thinking Ole Miss plus 3.5. But let me throw it to you, man. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I think in this one particular, it's very hard just for my case and my position in a way, and how obviously rooting for Miami. But these look at these like quarterfinal games, and you see the blowout. You see 23-0. You see 38-3, and then you're still getting these single-digit lines that are within like less. I mean, you can call it less than a possession, but I mean it's literally border on a field goal apart from covering at that point. These games are going to be tight, very, very, very tight. I'm not going to be surprised if this line stays the same at close, honestly, because you have one side who just defeated defending national champion, and they're going to be like, oh, I mean, if they beat them, they could beat anybody in this bracket, right? And then you have the other side who pretty much just beat the hottest team in the country, who is number one in every single aspect ranking for like the last like 8 weeks of the season, and including beat them before already. And now they get the revenge angle, and then you add in all the drama stuff that pops in. It's just like they're going to butt heads in terms of splits. I really don't think it's going to be that lopsided, if I'm being honest with you. Anything above the field goal, it has to be Ole Miss, though. There's no way it's not. I just think these games are going to be so close. It's unbelievable, and they very well could go down to the very last second, just like last night's did. And yeah, I'm not going to be surprised in the slightest. I love Pete Golding, though. I was very excited when they hired him on full time. I was so hyped when I found out. So yeah, they got a home run guy for sure.
Yeah, and I like the story with Chambliss too. Like, what was he at Ferris State?
Phenomenal player. D2. Yeah, he's awesome.
I think they won it all, but like then he was like the 900th, rated transfer or something, and then like wasn't the starter. I don't know. There's like a lot of.
How did he get overlooked that bad? He put up like 4,000 total yards or whatever. It's like, what are we? Who's the quarterback one at the time?
I know, seriously. It's got some weird. I'm gonna throw it out there. Some weird Tom Brady kind of stuff. Like
it is
late pick. No one wanted you. You take over when Bledsoe gets hurt by Mo Lewis. Chambliss really impressed me. So I think this is a game definitely to monitor. Obviously, between now and then, and me and you, we'll do another stream between now and then before this game is played. But I'm thinking that plus 3.5 here could be very, very important. Now, who knows? Ole Miss could win outright. We had weird stuff with, extra points and safeties and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like right now, even though you don't have the contrarian value, the 3.5 with Rithmm telling you it should be maybe 2.9 provides a bit of an edge there. So I'm looking at Ole Miss. Let me throw this one at you. Any thoughts on the total? I didn't really do anything yet with it. I actually haven't done anything with these games yet because I want to wait a little bit, although I don't want to wait too long. I may even grab this 3.5 actually with Ole Miss before it falls. But in terms of the total, hasn't really moved too much. It's 51.5. Really hasn't gone up or down. On the one hand, I feel like Ole Miss can score a lot and give up points, but then Miami, doesn't score a ton, but they can really play a lot of defense. So if we look at the splits right now, Cade, we're looking at right now for this matchup, you are looking at DraftKings with 55% of bets on the over, but 63% of dollars on the under. That will lean you to a little bit toward an underplay. Now, reminder, always know where these games are being played. This is going to be in Glendale, Arizona, State Farm Stadium. So this is going to be indoor game. I think as long as they close the roof there. But then if you look at the splits over at Circa, you're getting over 90% of bets and dollars on the under. So splits to me are kind of leaning under. It hasn't really moved too much. If we go look at the total, though, Rhythm is kind of thinking the opposite. This could be a high scoring game, which again makes sense with Ole Miss, but predicted 56 points. That is a caution lean. And then if we look at the recommended play, 56.2. So it's hard for me to take overs that are kind of public in these one-off games, Cade. But any thoughts on this this total? Do you agree with the Rhythm recommendation, or do you think maybe this could be an underplay?
This one in particular, I did actually put something on already. I did take at the flat 52. I had this at Fanatics today, actually, and I played it small because my plan was to take a side live at some point, just because I feel like I can get better than 3.5 on Ole Miss if it's live, personally. Because if you're looking at an early score, you might get a 4, you might get a 6. One possession just changes the entire number, snap of a finger. That's all it takes. Nonetheless, I played the under at half unit. So I have the 52 of the key, which is why I did it mainly, because the 51, honestly, I really wouldn't. I think some of them are already sitting around like even money now. I also had the under in the Ole Miss Georgia game. Obviously, that lost. Now, I don't think that was a bad pick personally, because you've taken the fumble account minutes before half when they were completely on the other side of the field and they were milking clock. Like, they were not necessarily tempo at all at the time. And then the fumble, scoop, and score, and I was like, there's your turning point. It's right there. And then second half comes around, and it's just a complete momentum shifter, and then Trinidad turns into freaking 2021 Lamar MVP candidate season, and he's slinging it. He's running. I don't know, dude. Like, it was nuts. The second half was crazy. I mean, it was like 24-19 in the fourth quarter at the start with like 10 minutes to go. I was like, we might be fine. Like, after the fumble, we might be okay. And then bang, 28 points in the fourth quarter just to kill it. So I'm not mad about that side. I think it was the right side personally. The only thing, and my model actually had the under before it went down to the 51, because I had the 52. Green Star lit up for like 51 point something percent and some change. Now it went to 51. I think I'm both two cautions now. Nonetheless, Ole Miss offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr., he is calling this offense for the first time in his career by himself. That was his first game. Phenomenal, right? Like, he did great, and I got to tip my cap. It's Georgia's a stout defense. They're tough. I have news. They're not Miami. And like I said, like, obviously I think, is it technically a quarterfinal? Like, when they're on the home camp? Okay. Then, I mean, like, I said in this defense, like, their NFL talent is everywhere. They're spread out across the field. They have young guys on the Ole Miss offensive side, and then you have NFL caliber players on the other side. When those are butting heads, I'm going to take the veteran side and just back the stout defense. Both of these defenses are stout. They are very, very, very good. You have a quarterback who's turnover worthy, and then you have the other side who can be electric as all get out. So as long as you don't have these explosive plays, I think we get right under the 52. I projected 49. Kind of like the 3-point value personally. And now that it's already kind of dropping, I'll be happy with the 52 if it gets even lower than what the 50 is right now. So I'm going to hope and pray and cross my fingers there. But again, only half unit because I played small, planning on something else in the game at some point.
And also, I just want to hit on something you just mentioned. You said you played that Ole Miss Georgia under, and I know a lot of people, like, this happens to me too. What an idiot! You took the under; it flew over. Like, you love, like, the people love. I don't know what it is about just sports betting in general, or maybe it's a comment more on our culture or something. But, like, people love trolling people like that when they lose, especially if you're kind of known on Twitter, or I guess they just want to maybe you're having a bad day, maybe telling you what a dumb pick you made makes them feel better. But I'm going to stick up for you because you said something very important. You said, even though I lost, I felt like I was on the right side. Well, I'll prove to you, Cade, you were on the right side. That total opened 56.5. It closed what? 53.5.
Yeah.
You beat the closing line. You did your part. Like, I try to instill this so much on my podcast and the books that I've written, the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook in particular, like you cannot control what happens on the field. The only thing you can control is the bet you make and how you come to that conclusion. So I'm not going to name names, but there's a particular, person who loves to say the right side is the winning side. Now that really annoys me because the right side isn't always the winning side, because if you are playing, under 55.5, it closes at 53.5, but it flies over. Did you make a terrible bet? No, you made a fantastic bet. You beat the market. The name of the game in sports betting is trying to beat the market. People don't really get that, which I understand. It's a win-loss, zero-sum game. But if you make 1,000 bets, Cade, and you get a 55.5 under that closes 53.5, you're probably going to win close to 600 of those bets. Like you're going to be a good bettor. Like I would much rather follow or tail someone like you, who, even though you lost the bet, you proved to me that you read the market and made a sharp bet, versus someone who, played the over, got over 55.5, and they're happy that they won and they're celebrating. So I just think it's very important to be conscious of, what number you got and what it closed at. Because again, if you beat the closing line, that tells me that you read the market correctly, you made a smart bet. So it's not that the right side is the winning side. It's that, we can get into right and wrong, black and white, yes or no, but it's important not to focus always on the results, but, are you making smart bets where you're beating the market? If that's the case, you're a sharp bettor to me. And then also you look at a lot of these sports books, people who may not have the greatest one-loss record and they're not making millions, but they're beating the closing line. The books limit them. Why are they doing that? Even though they're not crushing them economically, they're proving that they're really sharp. So they don't want to accept as much of their money as they'd like to. So I had to stick up for you, man, because sometimes you lose, but you make a good bet and it loses. And that's just betting. Right. That's just life.
Right.
Let's
go
to
the other cap. I don't have a hat, but I'll tip the cap.
Isn't it funny? We both didn't wear our Rithmm hats tonight. I got this new hat. It's a brewery in Santa Barbara. And I'm like, I like the way it fits. I wore it New Year's Eve. I'm going to rock this thing tonight. So
I left mine at the New Year's Eve party. I mean, I had the shirt on. I had the hat on. I was repping, dude. Like I was there.
You got to get that back. Make sure you get that thing back.
It's at a buddy's house. He grabbed it. He was like, I'm snagging this. He's like, there's a limited edition of these. I said, yeah, there is. So.
Yep. Go to rhythm.com and, get on that trial, man.
Yeah.
That's what you should tell your buddy. So yeah, I'm leaning pretty hard Ole Miss plus 3.5, and you got a good number on that under. Let's go to Oregon, Indiana, because we were talking about Ole Miss and Miami. I was mentioning how it's like 50-50. Public doesn't know what to do. Cade, public knows what they're doing with Indiana and Oregon here. Right now, the updated splits are 83% of spread bets on Indiana. So for me as a contrarian, stop the conversation right there. I know what I'm doing. I'm going Oregon. Like that is when you are a contrarian based bettor, and it's not a sexy thing. You're going to take some bad teams. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to, grind out games that you think look like they have no shot at winning or covering, but you're always playing the long game. And anytime the whole point of being contrarian is placing yourself with the house against the masses, because the masses, they had a good year in the NFL a couple years ago. They'll win big games here and there, but the masses aren't making millions. The sports books are. So I want to be against the masses, the drunk guys at the bar, all the jokes we like to make. So right off the bat, I'm going to fade Indiana here. You give me a 17% team, a team that no one wants to touch with a 10-foot pole, a team that the odds makers are praying covers, because if Indiana, wins and covers this game, they're going to take a hit because everyone is playing Indiana here. Right off the bat, I'm like, give me the 17% side. I love being in these spots where you're just massively lopsided in terms of public perspective. But what I like about this one is it's not just a straight up contrarian play. Like what I'm seeing, Cade, and you can, let me know your thoughts on this. I'll throw it to you. But this opened, minus 3.5, minus 4, mostly minus 4s with the Hoosiers. Hoosiers have gotten up to 4.5 at some shops, but now it's coming back down to 4. So it kind of reminds me, weirdly, it's not a 50-50, it's a super contrarian play, but both these games are, as of right now, kind of similar in the fact that the line went up to the favorite, and now it's coming back down to the dog. And this is kind of becoming an epic line freeze play in terms of heavy, massive betting Indiana, but you kind of open -4 and you're kind of still -4. Like, why isn't Indiana up to -5, -6? That tells me that there's some respected money, and the books seem to be taking a position on Oregon here. Aside from a number one contrarian play, I did notice that circa you're like 26% of spread bets, but nearly half the money. You also have a dog who can score system match. Again, these are dogs that got to keep pace. You got to keep pace with Mendoza here. So Oregon's averaging about 36 points per game. Now, we don't have full Green Star recommended plays, but I got 2 plays here, both on Oregon. Oregon, believe it or not, favored. This kind of shocked me, Cade. -1.5. Not a Green Star. Again, it's a caution flag, but favored by 1.5. Oregon getting 0.4 points. So Rithmm is kind of saying it's about a pick 'em game. You're telling me I can be with only 17%, the contrarian side that I want to be with in a quote unquote line freeze game, and I can shop around. I think I can still find that hook, that +4.5. Looks like Bet Rivers, FanDuel. There might be another book. I'm in Massachusetts. I think the score might be at 4.5 too. But man, I'm looking at Oregon here. And again, Indiana could roll. Signetti and Mendoza could crush me. They win by 20, Cade. But this is a spot as my philosophy as a better and Rithmm kind of backing me up here. I'm going Ducks, and I'm looking for the 4.5 here. What do you think about this matchup?
I had the future, and I'm riding the future. I already locked in the 4.5 today for -112, and I didn't even know that yours was favored. Mine was like plus like 1.7, but dude, just give me the money line too. Why not? This is awesome. I'll root for it. I want chaos. I mean, like, honestly, I'm not going to say that I'm like low on this team. I know Indiana's very, very good, but it's like everybody goes back to the saying, is it hard to beat a team twice? It absolutely is. I mean, and I did some digging for our podcast that we did last week when all the semifinals and stuff started, because Ole Miss had them. I mean, back to back with Tulane and Georgia both. Teams that are playing a rematch the second time around, they're only now they are 29-32. So the team that won the first match is on the negative side of that, meaning that you get what I'm saying. Vice versa team wins the second time around. And it happened last night with Georgia, and I'm rooting for it again, dude. Why not? I had I had Indiana in the first match at +7 when they were in Eugene earlier this year and they won outright. That was a phenomenal game as well. But this one is so different. And if you don't know who Dan Lanning is, absolute psychopath when it comes to games like this. Like, you lose to this guy, and like he's got your circled on your calendar for the next like 7 years. He could not be coaching at Oregon for all. He could be in the NFL and could be playing Kurt Signetti in the NFL years to come, and he would still have that game circled probably. The dude is an utter psychopath. And the preparation that I can't imagine is probably going on this week for them and alone is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. And they proved it against Texas Tech, one of the best defenses in the country, so to speak, and then they just get pummeled like on the biggest stage. And yeah, I don't know how you can't play Oregon here. I'm sorry, I don't get it. 4.5. Like I said, I already took it. Done deal. We did all we can do. We just got to sit back, cross our feet, and just we'll see. What is that? A Friday? Is that Friday night? I think it's the Friday night game. But yeah.
Yep, Friday.
I'm with you.
Yeah, first one's Thursday. But yeah, no, you mentioned a couple things that are important to me. One, revenge. Like, what's the motivation here? Indiana, obviously, fantastic story. Mendoza wins the Heisman. It's interesting, Cade, like some mock drafts, like, is Dante Moore the number one pick? Is Mendoza the number one pick? Like, these two quarterbacks, obviously huge for this game, and then maybe how the NFL views them. So revenge, because you lose at home to Indiana earlier this year. And you mentioned Dan Lanning, which it was kind of annoying. Like, he did this to me. I forgot what game it was. Was he this year, last year? But maybe it was this year. Maybe we even talked about that game. But he scored a meaningless touchdown to kill. I was on the opponent. I forget who it was, but he scored a TD to kill my, I had the dog. I don't even know what the number was. but he did it. Maybe it was against Minnesota at home again. I think they were getting like, I don't know, 20 points or whatever. He kind of did it again in this past game. Remember? Yeah, there's like 10 seconds left and he scores again.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you really didn't have to do that.
Yeah, so this guy, in a way, I hate him because I've been on the other side of him being a psycho and killing my bet and costing me a ticket. But now that he's a dog, I kind of like that he's on our side now because
there's some energy.
Yeah, some energy, sure. And imagine the way he can motivate and play up this thing. Like, yeah, you guys, they think you're going to lose. They think we're a dog, no respect. That angle is certainly with the Oregon side here. So again, you had me at 17% of tickets, Cade, but the fact that it looks like a bit of a line freeze, the 4.5s are not painted everywhere. It's coming back down to 4. I'm thinking about that 4.5 right now, believe it or not. So I'm leaning pretty hard with Oregon. Now, before we get to some NFL games, I just want to ask you any thoughts on the total, because I noticed that it did tick up a little bit. It was 46.5. Now it's like 47.5. And if we look at some of the recommendations, they're both on the over. So 51.7 and 53. And those are both, nothing's comfortable, but I mean, that's like a 5.6. Yeah, like that's pretty noticeable to me. Any thoughts on the total here? Do you like this over? Because the market has risen and Rithmm is saying take the over.
I talked about this with a good friend of mine as well today. Basically just discussing like openings and whatnot. And he took the under. I held off. And I understand at his point because it was valid. But for Oregon to win this game, for one, it's not necessarily going to be about a shootout. I don't think it's necessarily just going to be Indiana matching Oregon's pace. So I think Indiana has to keep up with Oregon. I don't think Oregon has to keep up with Indiana because Indiana's defense, they're the ones who pretty much put them in the spot to do whatever they wanted to in that Rose Bowl game. It wasn't their offense. They didn't hit any explosives. They were methodical. That's what Mendoza is, what Curt Cignetti is. They're not explosive. They're not flashy. They're old-fashioned. And that's what I like about them a lot. They're very, very good at what they do. Oregon, though, it's Oregon. I mean, you go back, you got like flashy players everywhere. You got dudes decked out in sleeves. I mean, they're running like 4.2 40-yard dashes. they're like lightning, like legit. So I just think it's the other way around. I don't want to say this should be an easy over because both defenses, again, like I said, they just held their opponent in a playoff game to like 3 points, or 0 for Oregon, actually, but 3 points for Indiana side. They looked serviceable against Texas Tech. I will admit that. And again, they had a very good defense. But again, same thing. Their defense put them in great spots just as good. And Indiana, they hung 38. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of it just says letdown, in my opinion, which is why I'm so weirded out by this number. Because why is it so short? if you see these offenses and what they just did, it is weird. I will admit that. That's why I'm kind of steady offish, kind of like hanging back. But a 5-point edge on the model, you don't get a lot of like that big of edges on the models in terms of totals. It's usually just on sides. So to see it on a total on an over is pretty interesting to me. So I'm going to hang around here. I'm going to wait. And yeah, I don't know. We'll kind of go from there, but I'm liking the green stars here. I'll say that. I don't know.
I'm with you. And again, Rithmm does a great job. We always try to stress this, shopping for the best price, because most of the market is 47.5, but Bet Rivers, Kalshi, and Bet365 all 46.5. I mean, if this game lands on 47, if it is don't make me do the math in my head here, Cade, like 27 to 20, 24, 23, you can think of all the permutations here, but you land on 47, you want to cash that over 46.5, not lose an over 47.5. So 47.5, kind of like the NFL, you see that a lot. College is kind of a low total quasi, but like NFL, this is kind of a high total. But that 47 can make or break a bet. So I'm kind of with you. That's notable to me. And here's what I always look for.
Yeah.
The market and Rithmm in agreement. The total's ticked up. Rithmm is saying take the over. That's definitely something you got to respect.
I might have just found my second play in that as well, just for super small. I didn't even think about this before. Team total. Oregon sitting at 20.5 right now. if whatever, if the pace of the game plays out exactly how I'm hoping that it does, and Oregon has to keep, or Indiana has to keep up with Oregon, they should clear 20 with ease. Now Indiana's sitting at 25.5. I think that might be a decently higher number for them. I just think it should be flipped. I don't know. Something's weird is telling me that should be the other way around. I don't understand it. I don't know why. I just want to get to Friday, dude. This is making me mad. I don't like it. But yeah, I don't know. 20.5. It's already juiced. It's minus 120 right now.
Yeah, it may not last there too much longer.
So I don't know. I'm going to do a little bit more digging, but yeah, stay tuned for the followers on Twitter. We might be adding one here.
Yeah, we got to tell Megan and Brian, give us some team total predictions.
That would be cool. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I use it in the angles, but yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. Now let's get to the NFL, because I'm looking at this weekend in a very kind of make or break, or all in, all out kind of weekend. Like, I want to talk to you, Kate, about the two games tomorrow because they mean something. So if we look at Bucks Panthers, Seattle San Fran, this is all having to do with the division winner. So you want to play hard, everyone's in. If we look at all these other games, I think you should be really careful this weekend. Like, typically it used to be week 17. They had another game. Now it's week 18. But let me give you some quarterbacks here, Cade. Clayton Tune, Riley Leonard, Quinn Ewers, Kenny Pickett, Trey Lance. I mean, go down the list. Brady Cook. He's started a few games, but like, there are so many backup quarterbacks playing. There are so many games where it means absolutely nothing. Yeah, some of these guys have incentives, but like, how do you cap? It's almost like a bowl game in a way. However, these guys are professionals, but still, I just don't like. I'm gonna really focus most of my bankroll on tomorrow, because I know those games are legit and they're gonna try. And everyone will get to San Fran in a second. They're a little banged up, but you kind of know what to expect. All these other games, how do we know what Tanner McKee versus Josh Johnson's going to be like? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much unpredictability that I would hate to, give away a few units just because it's a Sunday, it's the last week, and I need the action. Like, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to be very careful. I think it's very difficult, especially with these lines having moved, with these quarterback changes, yada, yada, yada. But with that being said, let's talk about the games for tomorrow. First one is going to be the winner of the NFC South. Or there's a weird thing too, Cade, where if Tampa wins, but then who is it? Atlanta wins or New Orleans wins, or there's something like, I have a future on the Atlanta or on the Tampa Bay Bucks to win their division. But I read something that even if they win, it might be a tie in their division, and then maybe Carolina is going to win. So you'll have a popsicle headache and go nuts trying to understand this stuff. Anyway, it's a big game. Theoretically, it's for the division. What I noticed here, Cade, is another 50-50 game. Public doesn't know what to do. Tampa Bay is about a 3-point favorite at home. But even though there's no contrarian value, if you look at the way this line has kind of moved, it's never gotten up to 3.5. It has gotten down to 2.5 at a couple shops. And, the juice is on the Carolina side, +3, -115, -120. I'm leaning Carolina here, +3. They're a divisional dog. There's been liability in their favor. Both teams off a loss take the divisional dog. That's a 60% ATS system. I've been waiting on Tampa to beat Tampa again, and they just haven't. And at what point are we just going to say they just don't have it this year? I don't know what the deal is. But to look at the great equalizer, let's see what Rithmm has to say for this one. Now, right off the bat, it's a little confusing because 2 are on the Bucks, 1's on the Panthers. Well, let's kind of walk through it. There's a Bucks -3 recommendation, but it is a caution flag, and it's right at 2.8. There is a Bucks Green Star -3, predicted 3.3. But there's only one smart signal recommendation, and it's on the Panthers. So that is a Panthers actually favored by 0.1. So again, not every game is perfect. Like, they're not all going to be on the same side, all Green Star. So it kind of tells you that there's a bit of a disagreement from an AI, model standpoint. But I can be on a divisional dog. There's only been liability on the Panthers side. Again, I'm putting my own bias in here, but I don't really trust Tampa Bay. They haven't really shown me. They start like 5-0 or 6-1, or they had a
They
good
were
start and then
hot.
they
Yeah.
completely fell off. Give me the 3 with Carolina here, man. What do you think about this one?
I'm kicking myself because I saw the 3.5 pop and I saw a lot of people actually grab that sorry, I did see a lot of people grab the 3.5 hook and then the flat 3 before it got so juiced. I don't even call it so juiced, but I mean, I just saw some like minus like single digits, like minus 108s were out there, minus 105s were still out there. And then before I knew it, this was all the way up to like minus 120. And I was like, golly. So immediately, yeah, my lean was Tampa without a doubt. I don't know if I want to wait longer because I'm afraid of this going back down to 2.5 because I know it did. I know it hit 2.5 at one point. A few days ago, I think. Even though that minus 2.5 was really juiced, I seen a lot of like minus like 130s. I don't know. It's. I mean, I know we have a couple of days, and I'm hoping of some game day steam on the favorite here, just because you think of the Panthers, you think just like sad cats, like just dumpster fire of a franchise, right? I think people are still in that mindset about this team, but I think they're the better team at this point. Like Tampa Bay has been beating themselves for, I mean, I don't even know how many weeks are now, ever since they started that crazy run at like 6-1, whatever it was. And I love Baker, don't get me wrong, but like Panther defense, I mean, we've said it, like they're scrappy. They've been really pretty good covering machines despite that one Buffalo game where they just got blown out by 30. But ever since then, I mean, really, they've been kind of a wagon this year, I think. So I like Tampa a lot, I like Carolina a lot. I don't know if I want to wait or I might just buy something tomorrow before game time. So I don't know there. We'll see though. I wanted Carolina bad though.
Yeah, and looking at kind of these current prices here, a lot of books are at 2.5 now.
Yeah,
some of these are prediction markets. Poly Market, Kalshi. Fanatics is down to 2.5. I'm looking at the Panthers +3. Just again, divisional dog. You look at the way they've played. Carolina's been consistently like 500. Like if you look at their box scores, it's win loss, win loss,
yeah.
win loss, win loss.
Yep.
I mean, they just go back and forth. Theoretically, they're coming off a loss to Seattle. I'm annoyed. I had +7.5 with them, Cade. Topic of
Yep.
conversation. They got down to 7, and then they get rolled 27-10, whatever. But Tampa Bay, I mean, you play Miami with Quinn Ewers and you lose. They played. I want to get to some props here in a second, but they lose to Carolina by 3. At home against Atlanta, you lose. You lose to New Orleans. I mean, what's the deal? I just, it's hard for me. Like, I always try to look at Cade, like what the narrative is versus the betting market. Like, the narrative might be Tampa Bay stinks, but then the sharps could be hitting Tampa, and I would have to respect that. But that's kind of not what's happening.
It's not, yeah.
Tampa has really stunk second half, and the liability seems to be on the side of the Panthers. So I am looking at the +3 there with Carolina. And again, there's some back and forth, but there's only one smart signal, which means that it's really the best of the best recommendation on Carolina. Real quick, I just wanted to ask you about some prop bets in this game because I noticed one.
Yeah.
Let me hold on. Is it on a running back?
It is not, but it is on rushing yards.
Okay. Ooh, is it Baker?
It is Baker.
All right, nice. I got it written down. Tell me.
Yeah, I the way that he's just been using his feet a lot these last couple of games, and then I saw how low this kind of line was. Games like this, you're going to need your quarterback to kind of move around. I mean, like I said, Panthers defense has been really scrappy. They like to get after the quarterback. They're not just some defensive line unit that's overlooked. And then Baker, the dude was a Heisman candidate. I think he won the Heisman. Oh, crap. I'm blanking my mind. Crap. I'm going to get flamed for that one. But no, I mean, he's an athlete. He can move. And I saw, 16.5 just feels short in a game like this. So I feel like he's going to need to move his feet around if they want a chance at it, although I don't think there's going to be a chance. Nonetheless, I'll take the short line. I liked it. Same thing with the rhythm models. They had him 10 yards over the line. So I've seen a lot of people Somebody in my betting Discord did this. Remember when we had Sam Darnold like on a Thursday night whenever they played the Rams, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Sam Darnold
Yep.
line was like 3. So he alternated the line to like 15 and got it in like 2 rushes. So ever since then, every time Rithmm just has a Green Star QB rushing play, they just alt the yards by like 10 plus. And it's been a cash cow. So I mean, another at 27. If you got the guts to do it at 30, I mean, go for it, I guess. But I just thought it was funny. But yeah, I'm taking the QB play again. They've been really hot with these QB rushing yards as well. I will say that.
Yeah, great point. Again, you could ladder it up, get a bigger payout here if you're willing to be a little bold. But let's just go from the basic standpoint of 16.5 is the betting market number. He's predicted 27.8. So you're looking at 11, almost a 12-yard difference on his rushing. And if you look at kind of what's important to me about this game, Kate, is they just played each other a couple weeks ago. So you can kind of recreate some of these box scores.
Yep.
In that game against Carolina, he had 4 rushes for 49 yards. So if he just scrambled a couple weeks ago and got you nearly 50 and he only needs 17 here, maybe there's a look, maybe there's some kind of advantage, maybe he's got confidence and having run pretty well the last game against them. That makes total sense to me that Baker could be a worthwhile play here. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his last 6, or I guess 7, he's gone over this number. And if we look at his last couple home games, you're only basically 500 with these over unders, but 42 against New Orleans, 27 against Arizona. You're at home. Again, you're not the Bucs offense we're used to. He might have to create. So I'm right there with you in terms of a Baker over 16.5. When I was mentioning the running backs, I just was kind of thinking about just the 2 Green Star plays. So Rico Dowdle, the guy you and I have talked about quite a bit this year. Again, I thought it was a really good signing in Dallas. I don't know why you gave him up. Again, Javonte Williams has been good, so I guess can't really blame him there. But over 54.5, can he get you 55 yards? Rithmm is predicting 67.6. You look at his trend line; it's not going to excite you too much in terms of all these green bar graphs. But to me, this is the kind of game where we're looking at a low total. You want to control pace. Dowdle's a guy you could lean on, so I can get with that one. And then Bucky Irving, guy who's awesome. He was injured a lot of the year. He's sitting at 58.5, only a couple yards more than Dowdle, but he's predicted 81.8. So again, missed some time with injury, but this is a graph that gets you kind of excited because when he's healthy and ready to go, he's pretty good, consistently getting you over this number. Between the 2, Cade, Irving over, and I'm with you on Baker. So we've already established the Baker over. But any thoughts on that Bucky Irving or Rico Dowdle? Do you like both? Do you like neither? Do you like one more than the other?
I would prefer Bucky, I think, just because of the model discrepancy. Looking at borderline, what was that, 20 yards, I think, or 20 plus yards difference.
Yep.
If he's at 60, 58, and then, yeah. So 23-yard difference there, I think. Ballpark. I would like it personally with how talented that he is. Why not? I know Rico's been hot. That's a scary thing because he went through that stint where he was like 100 or 200 plus scrimmage yards in like 4 straight games, whatever that was, which is, again, that was insane by itself. Solely rushing yards, though. That's where I kind of deteriorate to one or the other, and then I'd like Bucky in that aspect a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And again, you can tail the Rithmm model if it's a Green Star. You can, give it some time, maybe watch how the betting market reacts between now and tomorrow. But again, these are some noteworthy plays that should at least be under consideration. Cade, let's wrap it up real quick because I do want to mention the Giants game. That's like the only Week 18 game that I'm interested in. But let's talk about this other important game tomorrow. We got Seattle and San Fran. Now, this one's tough for me because the public is on San Fran. I'm seeing DraftKings right now. San Fran, a bit of a trendy dog, 64% of spread bets at DraftKings. But the line is going towards Seattle. Seattle opened, I saw one book, they opened like getting a point. Most of the books were -1 up to, or a pick up to, Seattle minus, I'm seeing 2.5s now even. Now, is that true smart money hitting Seattle? Is that injury money? Because George Kittle, I think he said he is going to play, but He's banged up. You have Pearsall questionable. I think Trent Williams is questionable. McCaffrey might have missed practice. Like there's a lot of injury question marks here, and it is a short week basically with the Niners, and they've looked great. Purdy's been incredible recently, but if I'm looking from a betting market perspective, I like Seattle in this game. You're a line move in your favor. You're only getting a third of tickets, yet the line moved in your direction. That's a fade the trendy dog play to me here, Cade. I'm looking at the money line here on Seattle, but what complicates it is Rithmm is saying go the other way, look toward the Niners. There's a one Niners play that maybe you use in a parlay piece. That's our new parlay piece icon here, saying they should actually be favored by 2. Second number, minus 1.6. Third number, minus 1.6. I mean, maybe I'm totally off and it should just be take the Niners, which is what Rithmm is saying. But it scares me that Niners are getting points at home. Just stop right there. Why are they a dog? They're playing great. Why, again, that seems fishy to me. Break the tie here, Cade. What do you think? Do you agree with the move? Is it all based on injury? Is this a game where, hey, San Fran's banged up, Seattle's humming, it's a short number, play Seattle? Or do you look at the Niners? Or you could even you can make a case the teaser, Cade, 2.5 to 8.5,
Yeah.
because are they going to blow them out by 9 or more on the road? I don't know, but this is a tough one for me. What do you think about this one?
If you guys paid attention to opening, 49ers actually opened this game at minus like 1.5. It was almost a borderline pick, and then it changed to a pick, and then slowly but surely started trending towards to Seattle, and then minus 1.5 got to minus 2.5, and now we're here, still there, obviously. I took Seattle money line as it shifted, as it flipped. I think I got it. What did I get it at? Minus 122. That was on Caesars. I believe that was 2 days yesterday. So I got that. This is just a down to earth kind of game that I was talking about again. It's very hard for me to it's very hard for me to back Sam Darnold in a big game. I honestly hated the way that he played in that Rams game, and I can't believe we won. But McDonald, I mean, my guy is 11-4 against the spread on the road since last year. He's a road dog. Like he loves, I don't know what it is, but he just gets his teams prepared for these road games. This is a very massive game though. And I like to think that I'm getting the much better defense. San Francisco, you're sitting pretty much 30th. That's second to last in total defense, when borderline you have probably the best defense in the league, I think, at this point. And it's for the 1 seed. This is a high stakes game. I like Seattle for cheap. I think I want to call it for cheap. But if I'm not mistaken, when I was watching last week, what is Trent Williams' status? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was also a big part for me personally, because I know that he's doubtful, I think, or at least he's trending towards out. So if he's out and you have the Seattle rush, be careful on that side of the O-line. They could be in trouble, honestly.
Yeah, you nailed it. I Googled it. Anyone can do it. But 7 hours ago, NFL Insider doubts 49ers Trent Williams will play versus Seahawks. Oh. So, yeah, I mean, if he's out, Kittle, guy's super tough. He wants to play. How effective will he be? And then, Schefter, I'm looking at the ESPN breakdown of this game. It says Schefter, semicolon, 49ers will be cautious who plays in week 18. So I
kind of get it.
Is Shanahan playing a long game here? Like, is he not taking this game as seriously? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm with you. Looking towards Seattle here. Let's just talk real quick about the total, because, man, how do you take the under? These teams are lighting it up, putting up points left and right, but this under looks really sharp, man. It really does. Right now, DraftKings, 80% of bets are on the over. Circa 74% of bets are on the over, but it fell, or it looks like it's falling, 48.5 down to 47.5. Both splits are really good low bets, higher dollars on the under, And again, this is the type of play that no one wants to make. I mean, look at the box scores. 42-38, Niners beat Chicago. Remember that 38-37 game you mentioned where you always money line a short favorite. That's very, very important there. But it's like, how on earth do you take an under? Yet the total's falling, even though the public's hammering the over. And we look at Rithmm, all three recommendations under 47.3, kind of right on the number, 48.1, right on the number, but a green star, 47.2. Now, it's not a huge, they're not predicting 41, like it's not like a massive edge, but everybody's, I mean, this is your number one contrarian. And again, it's a primetime game. Everyone's playing the over. It's starting to fall. Any thoughts on this total, man? Because I think the under looks pretty good here.
You're speaking my language. I love it. This is, I didn't have a play yet in this one. Honestly, I kind of wanted to see how the market reacted. I haven't paid attention to splits on this one as much as I have the side, which is what I was really worried about. But I didn't know it was that contrarian. Yeah, we might have to. Minus 109 is a great price. I like the under here. I do. I had the over in the Chicago San Fran game. And I really wish, it was funny because I was hoping that we would have like did some sort of show before that game, because I was like, you guys are never going to guess. I actually have a primetime over for once. And sure enough, it's like the second quarter and it was like 28-21. And I was like, this is so funny. So yeah, now that we're going back on the other side, pretty much rooting to be the boring guy tonight and root for no points in this, I feel like it's the play though. Like, honestly, it has to be. Yeah, I mean, the models love it again with them all being all green. I haven't looked at mine on this one. This is something I'll have to do after we hop off of here, which is interesting to me. But I guess I didn't do enough digging in this game. This is, I'll take it.
Yeah. And I know you and I both like primetime unders. You know, they are
no doubt. Yeah.
30-27 this year. They're 57% since 2022. You and I both love the outdoor division, late season divisional unders. That's lighting up here as well. I don't know in terms of weather. I mean, I'm seeing like cloudy, 55 degrees, 8 to 10 mile per hour winds. Yeah. Bill Vinovich is the ref, though. He's a really good under ref.
Yep.
It just, anytime you, like, this happened to me a lot when I first started betting. Anytime you feel like it's going to be a high scoring game, they both have been lighting it up. It feels like it always is the opposite. So
you get hit with a 13-7 final. Yeah,
exactly. So that under, man, you're not going to be popular playing that at the party, but looks pretty sharp, I must say. Wanted to mention one prop real quick, and then let's end on the Giants game. But there was a prop in this one on Kendrick Bourne that I wanted to throw at you, Cade. It's a smart signal. Only 7.5 yards. Can Kendrick Bourne get you 8 yards? I mean, one, in cut, he could, get you 10 and cash this thing. He's predicted for 24. That's 3 times as what he is in the betting market here. Look at some of his trends. Ever since getting back to San Fran, he's gone over this number quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 10. He's kind of consistently gotten you in the low 20s. All you need is 7.5, especially if Kittle is hobbled. Pearsall looks like he is going to play, I guess. But again, he's coming off an injury. Bourne could be a sneaky play here. What do you think about this over here, Cade?
I've liked the short numbers pretty much all season long. So, and I mean, again, we've hit on them quite a bit, and I'd like to think, I mean, I'll have to go back, but I think they've been pretty good as far as what we've went over, especially with these like lower tight ends, all the lower wide receivers in the single digits. I mean, they've just been how they've been. They've been good. Why not keep it rolling, on a high note? I mean, that's it at this point, putting the trust in the model. I mean, I'll have to do a little bit more, obviously, on my end. But yeah, I mean, if it's the track record speaks for itself, he's been reliable. So
I'm with you. And again, you had me at Flournoy, our guy in the Cowboys. Remember what would be like 3 straight
weeks? All day.
Cast is over. So maybe Kendrick Bourne can do his best Flournoy impersonation. That would be nice. Let's end it on this one, Cade. Again, I'm a wet blanket, whatever you want to say. I'm not going to bet a lot of these games on Sunday. It's too unpredictable for me to risk on a really unknown outcome, especially with line moves and all that. I did fall on one game that I'm like, how do I not take it? Because everything I'm looking at is kind of lining up on the same side, and it's the Giants. Giants are at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys open this game as high as like -6, -5.5, somewhere around there. Public is still playing the boys. You're getting right now 69% of spread bets laying it with Dallas, but Dallas has fallen like -6 all the way to -3.5. And if you look at the juice, it's all on the Giant side. Like it may even get down to 3. So I was asking you right before the show started, like, is Dak not playing? Is CD Lamb resting? Like, is just Dallas not playing anyone? And it looks like I guess they are playing their guys, or I'm unclear. But for whatever reason, maybe it's a motivational angle because on the one hand, both teams have nothing to play for, but I'm pretty sure the Giants cannot get the number 1 pick. So whether they win or lose this game, I really don't know. Your draft stock, does it really move at all? They just played the Vegas Raiders, which was the dumpster bowl, who wants the first number 1 pick, and they rolled 34-10. So is it more important for Jackson Dart and the Giants to play well week 18? It doesn't matter overall, but it matters to them. You got a young QB. You want to kind of build something going into next year. You're a divisional dog, which I love. Circa, you're only getting half the tickets, but 90% of the money. And the cherry on top for me, Cade, all 3 Giants recommendations. Giants plus 1.1. Giants plus 1.5. Giants plus 0.4. Rithmm is basically saying it's a pick'em game. You can still shop around and get the hook. Looks like the score is even giving you a 4 or 4.5, but mostly 3.5s. I got to do more research on what is causing this move toward the G-men, but maybe Dallas doesn't care at all about this matchup, and the Giants do. But I'm looking at the 3.5 of the G-men. Any thoughts on this one, Cade?
I think hook, line, and sinker. With this one, I think they got me when this was on opening. Might be a first half play for Cowboys. But after that, I think you see Joe Milton. I think you see these second stringers kind of hop in here at some point just to get them some playing time. Obviously, it's the end of the year. You want to end the year on a high note. But, again, you guys, I've said it literally every single stream of when we talked about this Cowboys team. Their defense is really, really very, very bad. I'm looking at it again just to look at the rankings one final time before we kiss goodbye on them this year. 31st in opponent EPA per play, and then they are dead last in opponent success rate. 31st in opponent yards per play, and last in defensive DVOA. What that means is that even if their offense, who is starstruck with talent, right? Dak, CD, George Pickens, Javonte Williams, Ferguson, you got all of these guys are just, they're phenomenal. Even though if they get a lead, their defense is so bad enough to allow their opponent to get back into the mix, even a team as bad as the New York Giants. Nonetheless, for that reason alone, you have to take the points with New York. You just have to. This is in MetLife, right?
It is home game. Yep.
Yeah, outright. I'm sorry. We'll say it how it
agrees,
is,
man.
Follow Rithmm here. Let's just do it. It's week 18. We have one more week of this. We can just let loose a little bit. Get the blood flowing for the playoffs. Why not? I'm with it. Yeah, I'll hop on the G-Man with you there, and then probably sprinkle outright as well.
Yeah, give me the hook. Give me Joe Milton second half. I'm with you, buddy. It makes a ton of sense. But that pretty much does it, my man. So want to, as always, thank people for tuning in. Thank you for being flexible with us. Holiday season. We did a Thursday, Saturday stream, a Friday stream. We just want to kind of still put content out there and hopefully help people cash some tickets. But want to wish again everyone a very happy new year. Cade, big things in 2026, my man. Want to wish everyone the best of luck. And reminder, we focused all football, but you kind of hit on it earlier, Cade. We got college basketball recommendations. We got NBA player props. Rithmm is not just football. We talked about it because it's kind of, obviously the biggest thing right now and biggest overall in terms of interest, but Rithmm can help you cash many different tickets in many different sports. So if you haven't done it yet, download the Rithmm app, use promo code START25 for 25% off. Give them a 5-star review in the App Store. But Cade, anything to take us home with? Anything we didn't mention, or should we get out of here?
I have one quick thing because I was listening to your show earlier that you do, and I know that you had a bowl game. I had a bowl game that you had on tonight, and I saw that we got a comment actually about that with an SMU in Arizona, and I wanted to pick your brain real quick, obviously, because I think you were on SMU, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I am, and I'm scared, but I'm doing it.
No, I wouldn't be, honestly. This is what I was wanting to, because I got we had the comment pop in if they're still, as this was earlier in the stream, we were talking about NFL, and obviously we go in an order of how things flow, obviously, but they asked about the deal with opt-outs in the SMU Arizona game, in which, like you said, SMU were 2.5 dogs, and then all of a sudden today they're -1.5, if I'm not mistaken. I unfortunately got on the bad end of that, and I took Arizona -2.5, and then I had some buzz around that Arizona's got some serious opt-out concern because their coach swept everybody under the rug and said, yeah, we have some opt-outs, but I'm not saying who it is yet. So I was like, Brendan, what are we doing, man? I got money on you tonight. Tell me who's not playing in this game. So nonetheless, I middled to take SMU after I listened to yours because I didn't know they shifted the favorites. I was like, yeah, I'm going to hedge out of this real quick because, yeah, I just don't. Yeah. So I didn't check Rithmm on this one. I'm actually seeing if I can really quick just because I had to hedge out of it though, because I know I had Arizona -2.5, and I know she asked about the opt-outs, which were very concerning in these bowl games. Like you were kind of hitting on at the beginning as well. It's just one player can pretty much turn the table on terms of the market, and 1 to 2 points, snap of a finger, that's all it takes. And again, when we don't know who's out, we have no idea who's playing in this game right now. So why would you want to pick Arizona for one? And nonetheless, you have all of these sharp money coming on SMU. There's a reason for that. So I'm liking that. And apparently from what I heard, the opt-out is in Arizona's secondary. So if that stays true, SMU, we know what they like to do. They're very up-tempo. They like to sling the ball around. Could be an over game. Could be just SMU money line. Could be one of those two. But yeah, I'll let you know this one. I'm not on Arizona anymore. that's for sure. I was listening to that earlier. It was like, man, you got to be kidding me. I didn't know because I was at work.
Dude, you're the man for listening to my podcast. I appreciate you. And I'm going to repay the favor and get into your podcast as well. But I mean, to me, it was just as simple as Publix on Arizona, like 60-something%. Lions flipping dog to fave SMU. And I agree that coach, like, you think this is a Super Bowl, dude? What is it? Snapdragon, Snap, Crackle, and Pop Bowl. Like, dude, why are you taking yourself so seriously? You're going to gamesmanship who's going to play and who isn't in a bowl game that means nothing. Like, automatically, I'm like, I want to beat you just because I think you're being a you-know-what.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe that's the opt-outs. I mean, that's usually why these lines move. But now I'm going to feel really bad if Arizona wins and I talk to you out of a win.
I am too.
I'll just tell you that. I'll buy you a beer if that happens. Don't worry.
I was feeling gross about it earlier, though. I'll tell you that much. And yeah, until I got the news about it, and I was just like, of course, you had the comment, and I was like, no, I have to talk about it. I have to own up to my terrible call that I had there. So yeah, there you have it. Don't buy early.
Okay, isn't it funny? You get huge CLV and you lose. Sometimes, like I'll admit to you, the Oregon game, I was on Oregon, and it at the very end, it flipped to Texas Tech like -1.5.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it did.
Damn, I'm on the wrong side here. Oregon destroys them. So betting's weird. Again, I always want to beat the closing line, but you never know. They'll play the game on the field, and we'll see what happens. But thanks for listening to the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast. Absolutely. Powered by Rithmm. I always got to put that in there.
How about that? Yeah.
But great job as always, buddy. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Cade and I will do another stream next week, and wish you the best of luck. Happy New Year. Have a great NFL Week 18. We'll see you next week. Take care.